Welcome to Surviving the Holidays Questions and Answers. Now, I'm going to answer in as much detail as I possibly can on this portion of it. Question 1 from IR Davis 444. Doc, you mentioned clean water. I'm a renter. What do you recommend for clean water? I live on Oregon coast. Yes, beautiful, but full of mold, moss, and bacteria. And they close beaches and lakes a lot. I'm hoping to move to a healthier environment. The mold has taken a toll on my health. It's everywhere. Okay, one of the things, bacteria eat mold. So lots of fermented foods are going to be fantastically good for you. Look at your physical, chemical, emotional stress. Oregon, you're in a low vitamin D area. So fatty fish like anchovy, mackerel, sardine, great source of omega-3s. Then look at vitamin D3 and K2, fantastically good when you're in that low sunlight area. Now, being a renter, you got to have good filtered water. A Dalton filter, at least 2-stage Dalton filter, this is fantastic. The ceramic filter filters out mold, funguses, bacteria. It's great. Berkey filters are also very, very good. I like the Dalton only because it can hook up to the faucet really, really quick. And you get that flow where you can cook pasta, cook your vegetables, and it gives you a better flow. And you can take it with you. It's fantastically well. It works. Okay, so the Dalton filter, you know the cost benefit savings where you get hundreds of liters of good clean water, and that's absolutely fantastic. Get the fermented foods, increase your sunlight exposure. So if you can get a red light therapy is excellent. It can be expensive, like the Juve lights some of them are really expensive, like the big panels. But anytime you get infrared and ultraviolet light, that pierces the skin and strengthens your response to the environment. And you will stay healthy, man. Oregon coast is beautiful. You got that right. But look at increasing your mineral absorption, because if you're in physical, chemical, or emotional stress, you have less stomach acid. And you need stomach acid to absorb minerals. So this is why plant-based mineral supplements are so gosh darn important. And sea plants are the best. Make sure you're getting a plant-based mineral supplement, not from China or Japan, because it could be heavy metal poisoning in those. But look for a local sea plant mineral supplement, and because without minerals, you can't utilize vitamins. So you got to get those minerals in the system. And if you're in a stressed state, you don't have the absorption. So increase your minerals, increase your vitamin D, healthy fats like coconut oil, fats from small fish, anchovy, mackerel, sardines, and direct light exposure. And then those Dalton filters are great. Berkey filters are good as well. And you will get healthy, my friend. Now, question 2 from Di Crawford 5587. Dr. Bergman, I'm in physical therapy for frozen shoulder. My bottom number on my blood pressure won't go below 100, nor does my heart rate. I've been drinking more water and taking coenzyme Q, but still not moving. So before bed, I've been drinking eggnog and a small amount of brandy. That'll bring it down, but I'm not a drinker and don't want to keep relying on it. I take 25 milligrams of Atenolol, which is a beta blocker, and that means it blocks the sympathetic nerve supply to the heart. What natural things can I do? My chiropractor is out of the country for 3 weeks. Well, when your chiropractor gets back, frozen shoulder has everything to do with the cervical spine. So make sure he's taking x-rays, and if he's not working with x-rays, have him get a set of x-rays, and I'll help in any way I can to guide his care. But when you're looking at blood pressure, you got to take it correctly. So practice diaphragmatic breathing. That means in through the nose, out through the mouth, but your tummy, your diaphragm comes down, the stomach's got to come out. So to practice diaphragmatic breathing, I recommend putting your hands on your stomach, and just think of this. If somebody punches you in the stomach, you're not going to breathe in like that, because the majority of people breathe in like this, where the chest goes up and the tummy goes in. That you're using the top 1/3 of your lungs, which is not a good surface area. The chest shouldn't be moving on deep inhalation like that. So push your tummy in and blow out. Then breathe in and push your hands out. Blow out and push in. Breathe in and push out. So this deep breathing like that for 10 minutes before you check your blood pressure, you're going to get a more accurate read. You can look at the machine called Respirate. What I don't recommend you buying it, but all it is you deep breathe listening to a tune. So you breathe into a tune, do-do-do. You breathe out to a tune, do-do-do-do. So it causes you to deep breathe for 15 minutes. And this, after you get practice with this, they say it's as good as 2 blood pressure medications and can lower your blood pressure all day long. No, your blood pressure is going to be elevated or adapting to your stress level. There's nothing broken on this. And your heart has 2 nerve supplies. One comes out of the top of the neck. Oh, same source as the frozen shoulder. The other nerve supply to the heart comes out of the top of the thoracic area. That's the sympathetic. That's what they're trying to block with the beta blocker. So look at the nerves that supply the heart. So any subluxation could put you in a physically stressed state, altering how that body functions. Now I'm going to get into greater details on some of the effects of Atenolol in the censored portion, because I can't really describe some of the activities of treating blood pressure with a chemical. But we will get into this later. But get you that physical stress working, deep breathe diaphragmatically before you check it. The frozen shoulder is going to be resolved when you restore the nerve supply to it. Also, look at the shoulder, because you've got a deltoid on that shoulder, and that's always pulling up. So what happens with a frozen shoulder, you've got the humerus that's stuck in this socket called a labrum. And there's usually a superior distortion on that. So you want to reform the labrum. So look at our shoulder health video, where you're going to take a weight, drop down that shoulder, and open it up. But if you have compromised nerve supply to that shoulder, it's not going to heal fast. Okay. In fact, it may never heal unless you restore the nerve supply to it. And that's going to be the key. And then by just dangling it, so this is a ligamentous-based exercise where you're opening up that shoulder. And sometimes the weight, it's not going to be 4 or 5 pounds, because you need a lot of weight to open it up. And I'm talking like 80, 90-pound girls need a 10-pound weight. So there may be a significant force. So talk to the physical therapist. Typically, they're going to try and run you through the full range of motion for a frozen shoulder. The problem, if that labrum's distorted, you don't want to lift it up over your head. And the way a normal shoulder works is like this. The way a frozen shoulder works is like this, where it comes up and then you can't raise it. So you want to reform that labrum first, restoring the nerve supply to that shoulder, and then your body, that labrum will start to heal around that humerus. Then you're going to get full range of motion back. Yeah, and if your chiropractor needs any advice, have him give me a call. I always talk to chiropractors for, if they have any problems, or to get them fast solutions. And you will get better fast. Question 3 from AJ. Quick remedies for the common cold and flu. This will get you into trouble. I'll try. There was a chiropractor recently who suggested vitamin D was good for you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he got in trouble. So let's look at this. A couple of things. When you look at this, it has to do with vitamin D deficiency season. This is why they call the cold and flu season, only because it's winter time and we're staying inside more. Typically you're less active, and activity actually strengthens your immune system. So there's a lot of different reasons why colds and flus increase in the wintertime. So now let's look at remedies. If you look at mucus, spicy foods will thin the mucus. Water will thin the mucus. So good hydration is the key. When you have good water and good hydration, so look at your urine color has important. Now, supplements can change your urine color, but if it's light yellow or clear, beautiful. That means you're fully hydrated. If you're overhydrated, this can deplete your body of minerals. So make sure you're getting a really good plant-based mineral, and sea plants are the best. We use Body Balance on the West Coast. Also, Dr. Tony has a great mineral supplement that is phenomenal. Okay, but So now, knowing that you got to have the supplements, vitamin D3, K2 is really, really good. If you have a light source like a Juve light or red light therapy, that's going to be essential in the low light. But let's look at super soup. And this is one of my favorites. Garlic, onions, turmeric. Now slice the turmeric lengthways so it can get soft. Cook that up with some water, sea salt, and black pepper. And then you've got the antimicrobials, you've got some spice in there that will help thin the mucus. And it's amazing. Cook it down to where the onions are soft. And you can even blend it after it's been cooked for a while. And I'm only talking like a half hour, 45 minutes to cook it down so it's soft and you can chew up that because that heat will release. When you got a root vegetable like turmeric and garlic, which have fantastic antimicrobial properties, when you cook it, it releases more of the phytonutrients, the bioflavonoids. I mean, it's fantastically good for you. Then if you blend it, it further breaks it down so you get the supplements inside of you. And then for clearing sinuses, I've got an Ayurveda garden. Okay, so when you look at this, let food be your medicine. So you can put a whole bunch of oregano leaves or eucalyptus leaves in a big pot of boiling water, have it boil and steep, and then take it off of the stove. And now be really, really careful because it's hot. You don't want to spill this on you. But what I would do with my kids and what I do now with my family, my kids are old and they're living on their own, but we would put a towel over the pot and funnel it up so the steam would get into the nasal passages, and you breathe in that steam and breathe a couple of breaths of air. Breathe it in. So heat, viruses, funguses, and bacteria die at a higher temperature. This is why your first response to any kind of external pathogen is to develop a fever, and that's fantastic. That's why you do not want to take any chemical to reduce the fever. You want to look at how the body's responding. So, and this is what I tell young parents, throw the thermometer away. Because if you have somebody with, say, 101, 102 fever, and they're shivering, they're trying to build their fever. As long as they're hydrated, fantastic. Their body is going to regulate. If they've been sweating a lot, they can lose their electrolytes. So give them coconut water. If you don't have coconut water, put a little bit of healthy sugar and healthy sea salt in water, mix it up, and then that'll get some fast electrolytes in the system. But oregano leaves, eucalyptus leaves are fantastic to get that steam up in there to clear those sinuses, then get adjusted. And when you're looking at the central nervous system, if you're in a fight or flight state or physically, chemically, and emotionally stressed, that weakens your immune system response. So the super soup, spicy foods, hydration, D3 and K2, the steaming of herbs such as oregano leaves or eucalyptus leaves, fantastic. This will strengthen the immune system, and then watch the body. When you're shivering, heat your body up. And this is why saunas are so beneficial, because you're going to detox. But make sure if you're going to use saunas that you are fully hydrated. And then know, every time you get a cold or fever, your body recognizes that pathogens and you become stronger. So the cure for the common cold is actually all of the symptoms that you would experience. You get the mucous membranes, the histamines release, it swells up, that walls off the pathogen. So your body can recognize that and build a defense against it. And then it goes through inflammation like that bronchitis. So if you have coughing or sneezing, put moist heat on the chest, moist heat on the back. Why moist heat? Because moist heat penetrates. And when you look at even just like my chest is this wide, moist heat penetrates about 2 inches. If you look at the average person, okay, who doesn't have a big chest, okay, moist heat is going to be fantastic. So you want to increase inflammation. This is why hot herbal teas, hot organic coffee is fantastic. Okay, so all of these substances, drinking the hot liquids, putting moist heat on, you're going to heat from the inside and outside. And again, fantastic. This is why herbal teas, green teas, fantastically good to hydrate. And then the cold goes down to diarrhea, so your body can alkalinize. diarrhea is actually a fantastic end result of a cold, because when you're increasing the flow going out, you're literally alkalinizing the system. And look at the respiration, perspiration, bowel movements, and urination. Those are the 4 ways your system alkalinizes. So capitalizing on that, making sure you're hydrated, making sure that you're getting the right nutrients, and avoid things that damage you. Like look at sugars, processed foods. Those are harder to metabolize and break down to give the usable nutrients. And you're not only going to survive, you're going to thrive. So just make sure that during the holidays, look at your emotional health, because if you master your emotions, you change your physiology. Just think of the yogi guys. They can meditate and they can raise or lower their blood pressure. So this is why I recommend doing good, healthy mental practices, symmetrical exercises, deep breathing, neurolinguistic programming, which is the I am exercise that we teach 100% of our patients. You master your emotions. Like myself, I cannot let my emotions happen by chance. I have to consciously change my thought process. And then look at what you put in your brain. Okay? Are you putting anxiety and stress in the brain, or are you putting motivating things? This is why, because everybody takes hits. I love the Kenneth Branagh St. Crispin's Day speech on Henry V. And by gosh, if I'm feeling down, I'll put that in. 7 minutes later, I am impervious. I'm ready to fight any battle with no help at all. So go to your go-tos, okay? Have something that you can maintain that emotional health. Then look at your physical health, okay? Try and eat heavy fibers, lots of fibers before the meal. This is why I recommend even taking a little shot of a couple of scoops of fibers. Psyllium husk fibers are okay. Non-psyllium husk fibers are a little better. But this way you get that fiber in there, and then it's going to start to help clean the intestinal tract, because too often in the holidays, we're getting processed foods, packaged foods that are cooked to death. So the enzymes in there are not really good. And then make sure you're doing your supplements. Your sleep patterns may change during the holidays. So try and maintain your sleep patterns where you're going to bed at a consistent time, getting up at a consistent time. And even though it may be cold outside or wet or rainy, make sure you're getting at least a half hour a day of walking in, a half hour a day, and then you will thrive. Now, I'm going to do the questions on the Dr. B VIP. And if your questions weren't answered on this, check out the Dr. B VIP, where I can talk freely.